what was doomsday? With humanity as a whole, what is the deepest of all fears? It's the anxiety that doomsday will return. So this sense of a cosmic recurrence is so embedded in all of humanity. Now, certain things arose in relationship to this. I mean, planets come into line. What are people thinking of? Well, they're thinking of two things. It's the reminder of a primeval order associated actually with the Golden Age and so on. But it's also a reminder of the violent conclusion of that Golden Age. So, yearning for paradise, fear of doomsday are the two dominant motives affecting the human cultures in their response to things in the cosmos. They're looking out for signs and symbols of the Golden Age returns because planets are lining up. And they're looking for signs and symbols of doomsday returns. Planets are lining up. So Golden Age and doomsday, they stand in inseparable connection to each other. Now, this psychological impact can be illustrated at the turn of the millennium. What occurred at the turn of the millennium? Well, one thing is that the zeros lined up on the calendar. Now that takes us back to the calendrical systems that were designed to anticipate doomsday, the point at which everything starts over. So the world collapsed. Out of that, a renewed world emerged. But that's just a millennial thing. Well, what about our annual New Year? What is that story all about? It's the story about the end of the world and the regeneration of the world, the primeval power of the sky. Father Time, which was a Saturnian identity, gives birth to a renewal of himself in the symbolic context of the new year. And that's where the Jupiter story displaces the Saturnian story. Jupiter, Jove, youth, rejuvenation, so on. That's the symbolism of the new year. The planetary configuration in its dismemberment revealed in the sky this power behind Saturn and not seen during any of that stable phase. Suddenly, Jupiter emerges as the ruler of the sky. He's even larger than the planet Saturn. Some of this gets more personal because we don't free ourselves from our deepest fears by storytelling alone. So there is an opportunity in one's dwelling on the story of mythology and primeval powers in the sky, but it's a pathway really to something else. So, I don't actually talk spirituality and religion. I don't talk publicly about the relationship of man and God, except in this sense, which I speak to only rarely, because we're such a diverse group. It doesn't help to get into anything that would sound like a religion, for example, because we have every position on the spectrum of human thought is in our group, actually. So I don't know if you've had a chance to meet some of our people, but they are just utterly diverse. And yet there's this sense of tremendous unity in our group because we don't make issues out of any of that. There's something we can talk about that has to do with what is a human being? And what is the impact of this ancient experience on humanity when you go beyond the trauma and the terror of it all and beyond all calendrical systems. What is left as the identity of a human being? It's actually what was untouched by any of that. So if we can just come into a confrontation with that question, what is a human being, and discover that everything that I've spent my life talking about, it actually disappears. We don't have to worry about it in the end. We dwell on it, we research, we draw extraordinary conclusions, But in the end, we are looking for something else than understanding how this happened, what its details were, all of these incredible stories. In the end, we want to the clutter of human history, human symbolism, human claims, ideologies, even religions. We want that to be removed in order to release humanity, release ourselves into the full light of day. And there, we are not encumbered by the momentum of any ideological claims whatsoever. And that's the level at which we meet other people and we begin to realize there actually is a human identity, and that identity in its purity, undefined by all of this, is the future of humanity. This is the real freedom that we are looking for. So that's the story that I don't stand up and talk about publicly, except in these rare moments where I just have an opportunity to speak for it very simply and not get into any ideology or any preaching of anything. But here's an experience. I found just in recent years, almost everybody in our group feels the same. You say this, you just speak this as a discovery, a truth of being itself. And essentially they all say, that's it. This is what I was really looking for, as interesting as all of this is. And they don't have to walk away from any of this, because this always produces a catalyst for penetrating down to, well, what does all of this mean, and so on. So the most inspiring experience for me at this conference and at the last three conferences, as we moved toward a willingness to just kind of accept that there is this question and just to speak our own perception and experience, they all agree. I haven't had a debate with a single person at this event on anything that I've said here, just touching on the spiritual underpinning of life, of what is a human being. And I think everyone agrees this is actually the gift at the end of the exploration, realizing that there is a unity to life that is the bedrock. Well, the barriers are almost overwhelming. So I don't predict anything. I don't predict, or I don't count on in the slightest that the scientific community is just going to rush into the electric universe in my lifetime. I don't expect that, though it is possible, because the electric universe is today the most compelling paradigm. There's nothing that compares in the world today to the power of the electric universe paradigm. So I just feel that's not a small thing, and we don't know what's around the bend, which is fine. We just go on doing what we are doing, and step by step, it is always bolstering our confidence that a earth-shaking revolution in human thought is coming.
You're creating another cataclysm.
Yeah, it will be cataclysmic and incredibly liberating. So, so. Nobody can say with confidence, real confidence, where humanity is headed. And just take the collective environment that we're all immersed in right now. It's a bit desperate, it's a bit conflict-ridden, uncertainty, anger, action in various directions collectively. Not a sense of a resolution the day after tomorrow, that's for darn sure. So I stay out of politics completely, but it would be a bit insane to just ignore that there's an unsettled quality to our collective environment today. I don't believe in politics. I could even go so far as to say that. I don't believe in politics in the terms that people are treating politics today. The answer comes by being more politically active. No, that can't be the answer to a human dilemma. And the answer can only come from a sincere desire on the part of human beings to see beyond the forces that divide. Now, politics has succeeded in being more divisive in our present time than I can remember since, going back decades. If that is so, that politics itself is not liberating us or freeing us in any sense, I say to people, the best response is to step back from politics and find the anchor internally that can connect you with anybody you are speaking with. It doesn't make any difference whether they are Marxists or activists of any kind, whether they're radical conservatives, they're marching under the Nazi flag and the kinds of things we see going on today. It doesn't make any difference if you are talking to a person at that level of the human connection. Why do we spend so much time talking with people at the level at which the debate is unresolvable? Nothing is going to be resolved at the level of all this activity. So the political illusion is just being acted out spectacularly and even violently today. There's a certain value maybe for some who can actually follow the potential of the electric universe into something thoughtful and speaking to humanity. In the end, the electric universe will speak for the human connection, freed from all divisive human thought.